His brutality and avenge saw him force his way into 3 blood sisters, all in the name of vengeance towards what their late father did to him years back. These sisters shared an uncommon bond between each other that no force could come in between them, not even death when one of them almost lost her life. They came together to cheat death until love came, which is the greatest of all. Sadly, it came in the form of delusion and broke the bond. Before they could realize, it was too late to rewrite the story, so death finally had its way in and took the life of one of the sisters. But have you heard the saying that let he who brings delusion suffer the consequences? So how did it all happen? First, it was death knocking. Mercy all of a sudden started to feel weakness all over her body. Cindy came in to find her still sleeping. Mercy asked her to go to work. She will be able to take care of herself. She laid there all through until the eldest sister, Venita, came back late in the evening to find her sister getting worse with her condition. Just then, Mercy ran into the bathroom to throw up. In times like this, the first thought through one's mind is pregnancy. She came back looking so pale. Venita asked her if she is seeing a man. These sisters promised themselves after the demise of their parents that they will remain single and no man will come in between them. To their surprise, the situation is more critical than they thought, although the doctor had conducted a series of tests, but she needs blood at the moment. Venita agreed to donate without much thought to her blood sister. Mercy is a bit better now, and the test was finally out, but sadly, her kidneys are failing, and she needs a transplant as soon as possible. She has 6 months left if the necessary surgeries aren't carried out. The doctor came back to know what the ladies are up to. Venita is diabetic, so she cannot afford to have 1 kidney. Cindy offered hers without much thought. I can tell you this one truth, that not all family members can make these sacrifices for you should you find yourself in this condition. Cindy wanted her sisters to know that even though she is the last amongst them, that she shouldn't worry. She will be fine, while Venita offered to pay the 10 million naira required for the surgery. Venita knelt down and prayed for days. The ladies at the theater are the only family she has got. And it was good news for the ladies. They came together to defeat death. Days later, the ladies were back again. Mercy was grateful for all that her sisters did for her when she needed them the most. If they could come together to defeat death, what bond then can break these sisters? Few months later, Mercy started staying out late at night. Cindy caught her this time around. Mercy was already breaking the promise that kept the sisters' bond, but for how long can they stay without getting married? Mercy asked Cindy not to let their big sister know about their little secret. But everything was getting too obvious now. Venita was already aware of her secret affair. She knows that Mercy is a hard nut to crack among all the girls. Stopping her may make things get worse, so she asked her to invite the gentleman home so her sisters can also see him. Mercy finally brought her man home. As everything was happening so fast, Frank just proposed to her. This was good news for the ladies, as she finally welcomed the man who stole her sister's heart. All Venita wants to be sure about is if he agrees to go on celibacy with her sister until they are married. Frank loves Mercy so much, and he is willing to do anything to keep her. They were talking when Cindy came in. She was startled by the sight of the handsome man sitting in front of her. Frank happens to be a gentleman by introducing himself also to Cindy. From the expressions on her face, could she be finding this guy attractive, or is there something more we are about to find out? Ever since the day Frank came, Venita observed that Cindy hasn't been herself. The narrative began to change when Cindy told her that their sister won't get married to such a beast. But what could that be? After hearing what Cindy said about Frank, Venita saw the need of talking to Mercy about slowing things down with the marriage arrangements with Frank. This is the last thing Mercy wants to hear now, because her sisters were yet to tell her anything tangible about why the sudden opposition about Frank. Mercy was beginning to get uncomfortable with her sisters. She was going to stay with Frank until the wedding was over. Cindy came to know what the shouting was all about. This was the opportunity Cindy had to tell Mercy why she shouldn't get married to Frank until they watched her leave without saying a word. Inasmuch as Mercy is a hard nut to crack, she's still sad that her sisters were against her marriage with her. Frank then told her why all these were happening. Cindy used to work for him in his office. She started seducing him, but he wouldn't accept until he sacked her. At this point, her behavior changed towards her sisters. She went back home to give Cindy a dirty slap on her face for trying to seduce her man and also trying to turn her against him. Even at this point, Cindy still did not tell her what she had to tell her, but instead she reminded her of how she saved her life by donating her kidney to her. Mercy was also becoming ungrateful. She told Cindy that she never forced her in the first place. Mercy still left without Cindy spilling out the truth about the man she's about to get married to. Days later, Venita still came around to look for her lost sister. Frank came out to know why she was here. Venita happens to also know what Frank had done to Cindy, yet she still hasn't told Mercy. And from the look of things, Frank seems to have evil intentions towards Mercy, as he told Venita that their wedding is in 2 days, and he cannot wait to disvirgin his newly wedded wife. The best the sisters could do is to find a way to reach out to Mercy about Frank's intentions to just disvirgin her and what he did to their little sister, but they played a pity card while Frank was winning. Frank told her that someone came, but it was a wrong address when she came down to ask him who it was. Venita and Cindy sat down to talk about their next plan to stop the wedding. They couldn't reach her on the phone because Mercy already blocked them. Venita also noticed that Cindy looks pale and hasn't been feeling too well, so they both agreed to see the doctor as soon as possible. Frank and Mercy finally got married and made love, after all efforts from her sisters to stop the wedding plans. Although she was still worried that her sisters did not attend her wedding, Cindy found herself in a much bigger health challenge. She had kidney failure. The doctor had no other options than to place her on dialysis. Venita asked the doctor to take hers to save her kid sister, but chances are that both of them may not survive it since Venita is diabetic. Venita hasn't heard from her sister for days now. She came to tell her that their kid sister has been placed on dialysis. What's the point of talking to a man who turned her sister against her? She was about to leave when Frank grabbed her. Venita didn't see this coming as he pinned her to the chair and forced himself inside her. Could it be that Frank did the same thing to Cindy when she worked for him? Just then, Mercy came in. She was shocked to see Venita in her house. Frank defended himself quickly that she came to seduce him. Even at this point, Venita still didn't say anything. She came to tell her that Cindy is dying, and she's about to sell the house to pay the bills. She had to leave since Mercy still did not believe her with all she said about their sister's condition. The sad truth is that Frank forced himself also into Cindy. Now he did the same to her, and then he married Mercy just to break her virginity. Their kid sister lay critically ill at the hospital without support, all because a man came in and broke the bond the sisters once had. The question is, could there be more to why Frank did all these? Or was it out of wickedness? Mercy was troubled ever since Venita left. She asked Frank to permit to go to the hospital to at least be sure. Frank granted her request even though he tried to still let her know that Venita tried to seduce her. Frank did the most infuriating thing. He locked her inside the house and left for work just because she wanted to go see her sisters. Mercy came down to find herself locked inside. She has no other spare keys inside, so she called Frank, who told her that it was a mistake. He is on his way back. While all these were happening, Cindy was in deep pain. All efforts were already in place to sell the house and also get a donor, but she couldn't make it. Frank finally came back. He apologized to her that there was heavy traffic on his way back, and he thought that she had already left before locking the doors. To her, that wasn't necessary as she left for the hospital. She got there to find out that Cindy is dead and taken to the mortuary. That same night, Venita came to break the news to Mercy and also let her know that she will be buried in 3 days' time. She was about leave when she thought about asking him why he did this to her family. Frank had something to tell her. There was something she didn't know about her late father. Venita's father got his sister pregnant when she was a teenager and asked her to abort the pregnancy. Unfortunately, she died through the abortion. His mother also died out of depression because of her death. He swore that he was going to avenge his family's death, so he cut the brakes of Venita's father's car so he could meet his end. But unfortunately, her mother was also involved in the accident that took their lives. He didn't stop there. He made sure that Venita and her sister also pay for the sins of their father. He hired Cindy right after she finished her university so he could have her easily. Then he knew that Mercy wouldn't be hard to get by falling in love with him. And then Venita was for the fun of it. The question is, should children suffer the consequences of their parents? Even though Frank felt bad for what he did, he still believes that they deserve it. Later that night, Frank came downstairs to find Mercy all alone in the living room. He had something to tell her. Mercy went inside to get a glass so they could drink while they talked. She gave him a glass of wine. It seemed to taste very good. He was about to tell her what he had in mind, but Mercy started first. She heard the conversations he had with Venita earlier on. What disgusted her the most was the fact that he got married to her just to disvirgin her by calling her cheap. He just realized something deep inside of him. He had been poisoned. To think that you're a very hard and a smart man to get away with your deeds. You should never joke with a woman who fell in love with you. Frank was not poisoned to die, but to be paralyzed for life. What's more painful than that? She left him there to suffer while she went to see Venita, who was ever willing to forgive her. Even though she is not happy with her sister, it was their late sister's wish that Mercy should be forgiven. The truth is, unless you let go, unless you forgive yourself, unless you forgive the situation, unless you realize that the situation is over, you cannot move forward.
Thanks for watching. Please comment your thoughts and also like and share this video for more super amazing videos that we are bringing to you. And if you're watching from our YouTube channel, you can also subscribe and turn on your notification for more. Thank you.